Stick of butter rice is a thing, you know, but then you can add some inexpensive chicken thighs, a little cheese, and turn it into a complete dinner. These are the reasons why I like TikTok is so useful. Starts with 2 cups of rice, the ultimate one-pan meal. And then down with some pre-sliced mushrooms. I'm using baby portobellos, also known as creminis. And then a can of French onion condensed soup. This is the meal you make like the minute you get home from work. It only takes 5 minutes, get it in the oven, have a seat for a while, and then serve up something that tastes like it cooked all day. And then goes on the stick of butter. I cut it up into pieces so that it can be evenly distributed. Then some people are like, a whole stick of butter. Look, you also don't have to use the whole stick if you don't want to, but then you just can't call it stick of butter chicken. And then some grated Parmesan cheese. Hopefully you have a lot of this stuff just on hand. Now to turn it into a complete dinner, we add chicken. Again, I'm going with the boneless, skinless chicken thighs here. You could also use bone-in if you want to. I don't recommend the chicken breast for this because it cooks for, you know, over an hour. Those chicken breasts would be like just completely dried out. All right, so before I put my chicken on top, I like to season it with some salt and pepper, and then a little bit of onion and garlic powder, and a little paprika for color. And I like to pick up any spices that fell, put them on the bottom. Another little sprinkling of cheese. This kind of helps like make a little crust on the chicken. Now this one takes a while. Like I said, it's gonna take about 45 to 50 minutes covered, and then I uncover it and it goes another like 20 to 30 minutes. You'll know it's done when all the liquid has been absorbed. If you see little patches of like raw rice in there, just give it a little zhuzh in there. There's a reason this one went viral too, guys. Look at that. Freshen it up with some greenery, a little fresh parsley. Again, when I'm using like the canned soups and things, I like to just kind of add a little punch of freshness. I'm just gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes and then we can dig in. Hot, steamy, and delicious. I love how the cheese has made this little crust on top of the chicken, but I'm telling you, it's all about the rice. I already know how good this is. This is just one of those examples of it shouldn't even be that good. Like, we used shortcut ingredients, didn't even cook the rice ahead of time, and I mean, it works so beautifully. The chicken is gonna be cooked perfectly, so is the rice. It has absorbed all of that goodness, and my mouth is starting to water just talking about it. There's nothing you can do to make this any better. Like, it's just perfection. It all just melts in your mouth. And that rice, I mean, that rice is like highly addictive. The stick of butter chicken and rice is the dish of 2025. For my final trick, a Parmesan chicken bake. This recipe comes from Chef John, so you know it's gonna be good. I have never made this one, but I trust his recipes, so here we go. It starts by putting in a little olive oil in the bottom of a casserole dish. This one gives you that like chicken parm craving without all the work, without all the frying, and I love what he does for like the fried effect. So into the olive oil, a little bit of garlic and crushed red pepper. All right, and then you just place your chicken right down on this. He calls for chicken breast. I'm using chicken tenders. They tend to be a little more affordable than the chicken breast. So, I mean, can you really call anything cheap anymore? And then just store-bought sauce, marinara, whatever you like. About 2 cups, you pour it right over the chicken. Spread that out. Some fresh basil from our garden. Okay, now for the fried effect. I'm gonna do half the cheese, mozzarella and parm. Then you take a bag of croutons and we're gonna put it on top of this. This is gonna give it that fried effect, and the croutons can stay, you know, pretty crunchy when it goes to bake. All right, then the rest of the cheese. So that crunchiness is just gonna kind of be surrounded by cheesy goodness and then saucy underneath. This is way easier than making chicken parm. And it's as simple as that. You don't need to cover it. This just goes straight into the oven for about 35 minutes until it's all browned and bubbly and that chicken's cooked through. It smells like chicken parm. Doesn't look like the classic, but I'm very hopeful about this one. The way the creaminess and the crunchiness is coming together on this topping is going to be so delicious. Finish it off with a little more fresh basil. Ta-da! Let's see how we did. Listen, Chef John ain't gonna steer us wrong, okay? Oh, that fork just went straight into that chicken. It is super tender. This definitely scratches that itch when you want like cozy comfort food. You want kind of that like, you know, Sunday supper flavor, but without all the work. I'm loving the combo of the cheese and the croutons with this. And for that to have saved me from breading and frying chicken, I'll do that any day. Definitely one of the better Italian chicken casseroles I've ever made. My favorite way to cook a chicken breast, which I like to call the restaurant way, because this is the way I learned how to cook them when I worked in a restaurant. I think this is the way chefs do it because it's just smart, it's fast, and it works every time. I'm gonna do a little garlic powder and onion powder. So I season one side and then I season the other side when we get it in the pan. I don't always buy organic, but when I'm buying chicken, I generally do, because you find that the chicken is just a little more like natural looking. They're not these big, huge chicken breasts where it's like really thick on one end and really thin on the other. So you're going to start on the stove and finish in the oven. And you want to have your oven set to 375. Get your skillet hot. The first step in achieving flavor to just plain boneless, skinless chicken breast is to get some caramelization, because color equals flavor. I'm just going in with a little olive oil. Season side down first. I'm gonna cook it undisturbed until it releases easily from the pan. And while it's down, I'll season the other side. Don't rush the step. It will tell you when it's ready. If it's